It is unbelievable how much a person for whom I had great admiration has completely fallen off the edge.
So to be clear, I am responding to Gad Saad's Sad Truth episode 1500 podcast video from YouTube. The link to that is in the description for this video. Professor Saad, I greatly enjoy most of your media, but after hearing the Sad Truth episode 1500, I felt I needed to make some kind of reply. You yourself describe a sense of feeling inauthentic by not addressing issues that you see in the world around you. Probably if I simply thought you had misunderstood Sam Harris and had posted this episode 1500 and it was a brief critique of your interpretation of what he said, I probably wouldn't have felt the need to create a video. You created a video with over 10 minutes worth of tirading where you belittle Sam for something he did not say. But because I respect you and your ideas so much, it's important to me that you and come to terms with it a little bit better, because a lot of it seems misguided and at least displaced. Now, overall, I agree with you on many of the stands you've taken against Sam Harris's point of view. Unless citizens consciously hold the principle of free speech and true speech above all others, any others, there's a potential for a democracy like ours to spiral downwards into deception and dishonesty. In this setting, I think you were at a hair trigger ready to believe anything you saw posted about something Sam had said. Naturally, I can't read your mind, but I do agree with many of your other rants, so I know that it gets you up in arms, so to speak, when you discuss some of these issues. But in this one particular case, you went on for so long about something that was so misinterpreted that it makes your entire 17-minute video very ironic. I think that in that video, you're misunderstanding Sam Harris. He is not discussing who is right or wrong. He is explaining why he won't engage at a meta level with ideas and opinions he feels are counterproductive to a national emergency.
The obscenity of much of what was said, much of what was said at the time at which it was said, the conspiracy thinking, the platforming of people who were obviously unwell, we would have had a different political conversation around it. There wouldn't have been the same skepticism.
In his view, some ideas ought not be legitimized with public discourse. This includes A, when ideas are conspiratorial, B, when the discussion threatens to delay mitigating actions during an existential threat, or C, when the moral panic mentality is likely to dissipate over time without intervention, as did the satanic panic of the 1980s and 1990s. To illustrate this, he suggests a counterfactual world that would have lowered the probability of conspiratorial or skeptical ideology, but somehow Twitter, Dave Rubin, and now you are suggesting that his counterfactual example is in service to an insistence on being right.
If the reality were different in line with what I said, then I would be right. So you see how, all I'm saying is if things were different, then they would be different. And then me being wrong would mean that I was right.
I don't even think that's the way Sam would think, or really anyone. He is not discussing who is right or wrong. He is explaining why he won't engage at a meta level with ideas and opinions he feels are counterproductive to a national emergency. But that doesn't make him a liar in that clip. Now, is dismissing the views held by millions of Americans evidence of a possible tendency towards dehumanization of them? Sure.
Right? So that gets my goat, right? Not because it's Sam Harris, but because I abhor that kind of dehumanization of the other.
I will say you do seem to care about Sam Harris, despite your protestations otherwise.
Sam Harris, right? So to the idiots who might say, oh, you're obsessed with Sam Harris, I couldn't give a damn about Sam Harris. I've gone after people that are unbelievably more important to me than Sam Harris. So I couldn't give a shit about Sam Harris. Say, oh, Gad is upset because he blocked him. I couldn't give a shit. I've got a great wife, a great house, a best-selling book. I'm healthy. I've got great children. Sam is number 187 on my list of I care about. But what to one way or the other is, you bet I'm coming after the Malibu Sam Harris. Meditator. So the Malibu Meditator. Physicist, Malibu Meditator. Neurologist, Malibu Meditator. So this has nothing to do with Sam Harris.
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Because he blocked you instead of engaging in the democratic debate embraced by classical liberalism. And partially because he is emblematic of a mentality that runs counter to classical liberalism. So you can complain about the elitism and dismissiveness of his point of view, or you can gripe about how that failure to acknowledge common concerns in a politically diverse democracy is contrary to the classical liberal ideology John
Stuart Mill
and the founding fathers of America.
The quest for truth should always supersede one's ego-defensive desire to be proven right.
Don't get Sam Harris derangement syndrome.
If you see incoming evidence that suggests that you were wrong, stand up and say, hey, I guess I was wrong. I'm better for it now. Let's move on. Because for most people, it is difficult to admit to being wrong.
But don't melt down for 15 minutes over something he didn't say.
Epistemic humility. Remember that concept, epistemic humility.
The straw man wicker effigy you're burning doesn't have Sam Harris inside, and might, in fact, scorch you instead. Thank you for listening. Malibu Meditator is not funny. Honestly, it's a bit cringy. That's just my opinion.